What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another reaction video. Today, apparently the Hoop Collective dropped. Apparently they said something about the Mavericks and Luka Doncic. I don't know too much, but I know a buddy of mine didn't like much of what they happened to say. So we're going to go and review what they talked about. If y'all don't know who the Hoop Collective is, don't spend too much time trying to figure it out. They are just ESPN Luka Doncic haters. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and get this started. Let's see what they talking about. Enough with the fluff. Let's get to the stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so if you don't know, on the left over here is Mr. Tim McMahon. In the middle is Brian Windhorst, and on the right is Mr. Tim Bontemps. Let me stop being mean. But yeah, man. So let's go ahead and see what they talking about. Again, if you don't mind dropping a like in the video, consider subscribing, consider being a member. I host a mass pre and post game show for every Dallas Mavericks game and a Midnight Madness on the weekend, which is a podcast format. So let's go ahead and see what the hell they talking about Luka and see what the hell they saying.
Be saving those nickels.
Bontemps has been grinding his teeth because we've had so much Spurs talk.
No, I like talking about the Spurs. I don't like having the exact same does Victor shoot too many threes conversation over and over again. That's all.
Well, all right.
No, you don't like having to buy dinner.
So in the wild card, the big game on Tuesday to try to advance, the Mavericks played the Grizzlies. The Mavericks are in good position for the wild card. They cannot win their group, but they are plus 41.
Is it me? But Brian finally has a good camera on this show. Brian finally has a good camera, man. Hold on. He's finally got a good camera on here. This is looking all crystal clear. Look at that. You know, hold on. I don't even got my sound effects on. Oh, I'm tripping. Stream Deck. Look at Stream Deck up and running. Yeah, let's get some good shots, man. Okay, that didn't work. Where is it at? Hold on. All right, I figured out my damn sound effects, man. It's just one of those things. All right, let's go ahead and let's get back to Brian Windhorst's new camera and stuff. Let's see what they said.
Point differential.
Shout out Pelicans.
Essentially, the Mavericks just have to win by basically they have to win and not have the Thunder win by 30 more points than them against the Jazz. If that happens, the Mavericks will be the wild card.
And that could get interesting, but it's almost win and get in for the Mavericks, except for that it is possible that the Thunder could really run it up against the Jazz.
Now, McMahon,
Of course, McMahon. It is whatever. It's just, everything with McMahon, you know, everything with McMahon, it just comes down to this.
Because shit's going good, right? So write some positive shit.
I just asked you a question.
And I'm giving you a fucking answer.
That's what it comes down to.
Callously disregarded the Mavericks. I think they're actually in Portland. I was going to say you could have stayed home and watched the Mavericks play them.
No, they're in Portland. And by the time the pod comes out, we'll know whether Luka comes back against the Blazers. I believe he will play, but I checked just before this, and it is not yet certain. I would say his right wrist is officially the reason that he hasn't returned yet, but it's not really the reason that he hasn't returned yet. This has been an opportunity. He had a right wrist injury. I'm not saying he didn't, but this has absolutely been an opportunity for Luka to work on his conditioning. And that has been an issue again. And the other thing I would say, and I think Luka would be one to readily agree with this, every player in that Mavericks rotation has lived up to expectations so far this season, with the exception of one. And I think we all know who the one is.
Ooh. Oh, man. Oh, that's crazy. Man, my hair's been crazy today. Look at it. Look at this. This man is something else, man. You know, here's the issue when you're doing a nationwide podcast. Like, you get caught up in saying things for shock value, and I know he's trying his best. Well, I don't even know if he actually is trying his best. But what he said here, it could get misconstrued as shock value statements, right? Saying that everyone else has been pulling their weight except Luka, right? But if you were smart enough and you saw how the beginning of the season started, everyone wasn't shooting great. Kyrie was the only one pulling his weight at the time. And then to say that Luka is right wrist injury. That's what they say it is, but it's really for him to get his conditioning in. It's like, all right, brother, we get it. We get it. And, I was obviously championing for Luka to get rest. I wanted him to get days off against the Pelicans and then come back against Denver, and it didn't work out that way. But Luka looked great against the Pelicans. Luka moved great. He played great. He shot great. He didn't look that much different against the Blazers. Obviously, he had more of a responsibility against the Blazers to win because they weren't at full strength. So I'm not buying the conditioning aspect. I do think that Luka was injured, and I do think he looked better against New Orleans. So, and he looked just as good against the Blazers. He looked probably just as good, or if not better, like mobility-wise. But to say everybody else has held their end of the bargain or whatever, except one, alluding to Luka Doncic not being that one, again, it just goes back to...
Just ask you a question. And I'm giving you a fucking answer.
And this is not a situation where Luka has to come back and be the savior. We've seen that before. They have gone 5-1 without him, including the game against OKC before the wrist. He just needs to come back and fit in and enhance what's been happening so far.
That's true. That's what we asked him for.
So Luka is averaging 6 fewer points per game. He is shooting about 8% worse on threes. No, 6% worse on threes.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging about a rebound and a half less per game. He's averaging about 2.5 less assists per game. He is getting to the foul line two times less per game. Just across the board, depressed numbers.
Yeah, and
from last season's
Pravi
MVP.
Pravi. Yeah, no, his net rating is actually really good. Again, shout out Pelicans there. This is a deal where the defensive rating numbers are lying a little bit. They have done a great job covering up for Luka's deficiencies on the defensive end this year in a lot of cases. But again, he's got to. Hopefully he's gotten himself into shape now. He's got to stay in shape. He's got to play with the kind of pace that he played at last season. It's nice, really nice to have an MVP caliber guy you can get the ball too late in the shot clock and say go to work. But the whole offense can't be Luka pounding the ball and everybody else standing around. These guys have shown that they can play. So he's got to come in and fit. And like I told you guys a few pods ago, this is very similar to a few years ago, Jay Kidd's first year, the year they ended up going to the West Finals, where he was having the ankle stuff. They shut him down for a little bit. He came back after Brunson had kind of been able to keep him afloat, and they really took off. The difference is this is a much better supporting cast.
Yeah.
And, Kyrie is a better player than Brunson was at that point.
Speaking of new blood on the All-Star roster, I just point something out. Kyrie, ever since he went from Boston to Brooklyn in 2019, this is 6 years. This is the 6th season since then. He's only made 2 All-Star games since. Now, it hasn't always been quality of play because he missed
availability.
Yes, but still, should be pointed out that he's having an All-Star season.
No question.
Right now.
And you look at Najee Marshall.
Was that so hard to say? I agree. Kyrie is definitely making an argument for an all-star. Hell, I don't know about, could we say starter? I have to look at the stats. But he's been balling out, bro. He's been balling out. Numbers been insane. But I'm pretty sure they'll find a way to not give him a starter. But he'll be an all-star. He should be an all-star.
Marshall had 4 straight 20-point games while Luka was out. PJ Washington, and look, the record with Luka, which is...
Oh, yeah, Najee Marshall's been playing great.
The record with Luka, which is sub 500, PJ Washington missed a stretch of games in there. So did Derek Lively. So, there's some noise everywhere here.
Yeah.
But PJ Washington is putting together double-doubles left and right. Quentin Grimes has been playing great. Like, these guys who Nico Harrison, the GM, has brought in the last year are really paying dividends. This is a strong, deep team that if they have a first-team All-NBA superstar is going to be really dangerous. They haven't had that guy this year yet.
All right. Speaking of noise, it's time for your first of the season Are you?
You're really dangerous. They haven't.
I guess that was it. That was it. That's all they had to say. That's all they had to say. They didn't have no bad performances. They didn't have, hey, Wendy, where was the blow-by percentage stat? I was waiting for that stat. Like, is it worse? Is it better this year? Is it, what is it? What's that stat this year? Like, where is the blown-by in percentages? That's what I expect from these games. And then Tim Temps didn't even speak at all, right? What Tim said, for the most part, all that is pretty much accurate. As far as saying one person, Luka, is undelivering, like that's just asinine to say. And then, hey Sylvester, you good? You good? I'm just trying to cover the jewels, buddy. And then Wendy, Brian Windhorst, just I don't know. I don't know how people enjoy that podcast. I don't enjoy it that much. I know people treat it like it's gospel, and I can't tell people not to enjoy it. If that's what you enjoy. But when I want someone covering my team, I like them not to always sensationalize everything. I understand ESPN. You got to be able to have articles that brings viewership and clicks and is very sensationalized. I get it. But sometimes the way they go about it just rubs me the wrong way as a fan, and I don't really care for the things that they say. And so, but again, this is YouTube, and I'm reacting to what they're saying. I'm playing the game too, I guess, in that sense. So, yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I said. Anyways, been your boy TGK. If y'all enjoy that, let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments below with what they said. Was that some value to you and what you think the Dallas Mavericks are going on? Do you think Luka just took a hiatus to get his conditioning right? Do you think Luka really has a right wrist injury? Basically alluding that Luka's faking an injury. Like, that's just crazy to me as someone on that show to say things like that. It's wild to me. Anyway, man, it's been your boy TGK. Appreciate y'all being here. Consider liking, subscribing, becoming a member, all that good stuff. And we are out.